Hello and welcome back to Where's the Bandwagon. My name is Will and this is part 3 of our breakdown of The End of the World. If you haven't seen part 2 then click the card on the top right hand side of the screen. Otherwise, let's just jump right back into it. Cassandra enters and takes control of the room. The actress Zoe Wanamaker does a brilliant job of this.
Oh, now, don't stare. I know it's shocking, isn't it? I've had my chin completely taken away, and look at the difference. Look how thin I am.
We learn a lot about Cassandra O'Brien. Delta 17 in this episode. One throwaway line
When I was a little boy, down there.
Is expanded upon in the book Doctor Who Monsters and Villains, where it says that Cassandra was born Brian Edward Cobbs. This transgender past of hers would make her seen as the Doctor all the more confusing.
Goodness me, I'm a man. Young.
Cassandra returns in the upcoming episode New Earth, with her brain being transported to the back piece of her body skin, while her eyes and lips were salvaged from the bin.
Cassandra's basically a shopping trolley, and shooting her was a bit like pushing one of those dodgy trolleys around Tesco's with a kind of wobbly wheel.
Oh, now don't stare.
Zoe Wanamaker, who we cast in the role, wasn't able to be with us on the set, so we had a stand-in to kind of read in for her.
Look how thin I am. Thin and dainty.
Getting that emotion into an aluminium frame was a real challenge.
Moisturise me. Moisturise me.
Very good, very good. I hope that our artists kind of were able to respond to how they imagined she would look like.
It's quite a difficult character to get character into because of the fact that she's so flat. There's nothing there, there's no shape to the face. So we had to actually build in lips, teeth, gums, and the inside of the mouth.
As Cassandra jokes and takes control of the room, the Doctor is loving it, just enjoying the characters and being part of the party. However, when she introduces the ostrich egg, he becomes serious again. This is interesting because the ostrich egg, we later find out, contains the teleportation feed. So at this point, does the Doctor know something is wrong with the egg? Maybe he knows that all ostrich eggs are gone, so knows something is suspicious when she brings it out. Cassandra gets muddled up with ancient Earth history facts.
According to the archives, this was called an iPod.
This is similar to how Mr. Copper would get muddled up in Earth history in The Voyage of the Damned. After Cassandra confuses an ostrich with a dragon, she plays Tainted Love by Soft Cell and later Toxic by Britney Spears. Toxic was not actually released as a vinyl in this form, so the production team had to create a mock-up. Toxic would also be played over the top of Britney Spears' cameo in the Children in Need short Looking for Pudsey, which also contained a 12th Doctor cameo.
What a strange man.
The original script says that Cassandra also has cabinets containing the first editions of Harry Potter, the Philosopher's Stone and the Magna Carta. This could be a reference to the actress who played Cassandra, Zoe Wanamaker, who played Madame Hooch, the flying teacher and Quidditch referee. J.K. Rowling was invited to write for the first series of Doctor Who, but was busy on Harry Potter itself.
Refreshments will now be served.
Next we get this great scene of Rose getting overwhelmed by the situation. The director, Eros Lynn, does an excellent job of making the room feel overwhelming and claustrophobic to show how Rose is feeling. He achieves this by using camera movements which mirror Rose looking around the room, which puts the audience in her shoes. He also frames the shots of Rose so that aliens are surrounding her and walking in front of her, giving us the view of a crowded environment smothering Rose. He also uses shots which focus and show close-up of the alien designs. Even when I was watching this, I was getting claustrophobic. The music as well is played loud and the lyrics fit perfectly with how Rose is feeling. The way the steward says,
Earth death in 30 minutes.
is so casual, it's like a train conductor. This shows us that everyone is completely calm, a complete contrast to how Rose is feeling. This scene always reminds me that this is like Doctor Who's version of Mos Eisley Canteen in Star Wars, to just show amazing alien designs and show what this production team can come up with. The Doctor sees Rose's disturbance and goes after her, but in Rose's next scene with Raffaello, he doesn't get to her. Now this is a continuity mistake that came from the fact that the scene with Raffaello was added in later in production. As the Doctor is leaving, Jabe scans him. We get a scene of her looking shocked and confused, saying,
It's impossible.
which really sells the mystery of who or what the Doctor really is. The scene with Raffaello is great because it allows Rose to calm back down. She recognises traits in Ruffalo that she can recognise and relate to, like the fact that she's a plumber. This gives her a chance to adapt to the aliens during this casual chat. We also get a bit of class struggle here, as Ruffalo says that she needs Rose's permission to talk to her, and is really pleasantly surprised when she is granted it.
Thank you for the permission. Not many people are that considerate.
Ruffalo, the steward and the staff are from Crispellian. Another famous Crispellian we see in Doctor Who is Dorian Moldova.
I'm old, I'm fat, I'm blue.
On a personal note, Dorian is one of my favourite characters in Doctor Who, and I found this character has similar traits to how Conleth Hill plays Varys from Game of Thrones. I would love to have a story where the Doctor visits Dorian in the past, but he has like a brother or a rival black market dealer who is played by Conleth. Speaking of Dorian, he actually went on an adventure with the War Doctor in the last months of the Time War. The War Doctor enlisted his help to help destroy the weapons factory on Villengard. This happened in the comic called The Whole Thing's Bananas. The comic is an expansion of the story that the Ninth Doctor tells Captain Jack in The Doctor Dances.
Sonic Blaster, 51st century, weapon factories of Villengard.
You been to the factories?
Once.
Well, they're gone now, destroyed. Main reactor went critical, vaporized the lot.
Like I said, once. There's a banana grove there now. I like bananas. Bananas are good.
Rose is asked where she's from, and she tries to think of the answer. The camera does a slow zoom to her face as she realises her weird situation, that she's just gone off with this complete stranger to an insane place. Before Ruffalo gets dragged into the vent, we see the scanner from the spiders. This is recognisable usually as the target sites for a gun, such as a sniper or from the Predator. We see the Doctor checking his TARDIS is being moved safely. Over the top of his head we can see the spiders freely walking around the station. This shot is meant to represent that people can't see and hear them wandering about, or it's meant to represent that people on board just think they are part of the station. Either way, it shows the spiders are not being noticed. The Doctor catches up to Rose, and Rose says,
"They're just so alien. The aliens are so alien."
Which is the perfect way of putting it. You know, they are just so alien. We get Rose asking why they all speak English. Future companions would ask the same questions. The Doctor explains that it's the TARDIS's translation. This will be brought up again in future Doctor Who episodes, notably when it fails to analyse the Beast's writing in The Impossible Planet, and when the translation slowly comes back online as the Doctor gets better in The Christmas Invasion.
Did you miss me?
The Doctor and Rose argue as Rose asks who the Doctor is. Again, he just looks down and doesn't give her a full answer. As will be explained, this is because he feels that Rose can't understand what he's gone through, and it isn't until the end of the episode, after Rose sees her planet get destroyed, that the Doctor shares his story. This is the second time in as many episodes that the Doctor and Rose argue. This shows that Rose will fight and force back if she thinks that he is out of line. In both arguments, it ends with the Doctor going silent, and Rose reaches out the olive branch by changing the subject to talk about something he will be interested in. She will also do this kind of changing the subject to lighten the environment at the end of the episode. The Doctor upgrades Rose's phone into a superphone. He later does this for Martha and Donna. Her being able to call her mum helps with her extreme homesickness, by being surrounded by all these crazy aliens. A question I can't work out is, when is this cool for Jackie? I'm fine with accepting that the phone can just get inside your head and work out what time you want to call people, but what time actually is this for Jackie? Is this the day after the Autumn invasion? Because if it is, then Jackie is very calm, having just been attacked and having not heard from her daughter since the invasion. I don't know, let me know what you think. Maybe I'm missing something really obvious here. It must work in a similar way to how the TARDIS phone works, which is why Churchill can call the Doctor at a time that suits both of them. One of the funniest lines in the episode comes when the Doctor says,
I think that's amazing. You want to see the bill?
A similar joke would be made in the 11th hour.
Sorry in advance.
About what?
The bill.
Oi, I didn't say you could go!
Rose contemplates the time travel aspect of her experiences after she speaks with her mum. Clara would experience similar thoughts after her and the Doctor visit the life cycle of Earth, birth to death, but she then goes on the offensive against the Doctor. The station shakes as spiders take over the computer running the station. The Doctor feels it and says,
That's not supposed to happen.
As a kid, when I watched this scene, I took it to mean that the Doctor knows so much about every tiny little thing that's meant to happen that he knows that at this moment the station doesn't shake. But I guess it's more like he knew the space station wasn't meant to violently shake for no reason. He has a cheeky smile on his face, which mirrors how he feels when danger is afoot.
I'm afraid not.
Fantastic.
I don't understand, in what way is that fantastic?
The steward freaks out but controls his voice for PR mode to speak on the tannoy.
Honoured guests may be reassured that gravity pockets may cause slight turbulence, thanking you.
The whole place shook!
Now, sadly, this kind of thing happens in real life, like on the Concordia, where the captain and the crew refuse to tell people to get on the lifeboats and call the Coast Guard when they hit a rock. This means that people could not evacuate the ship in time, and unfortunately 32 people died.
Bundle of laughs you are.
The steward says that the turbulence is caused by a gravity pocket. However, the doctor can tell he's lying.
That wasn't a gravity pocket. I know gravity pockets, and they don't feel like that.
And goes to investigate using his sonic screwdriver to scan the panel. This is similar to how Tennant discovers that not is all well aboard the Titanic in The Voyage of the Damned. The steward gets killed by the spider. Now, a lot of talk happens around the fact that the spider only needs to press one button to get him killed. They say, why is it only one button to irreversibly take down the sun filter? But the answer is obvious when you think about it. You see, the spiders have infiltrated and have complete control of Platform 1, so have reprogrammed it in such a way that all they need to do is manually press one button to kill the only man who can restart the computer.
Reset the computer! Only the steward would know how.
His death reminds me of the film Sunshine. The Danny Boyle sci-fi epic stars Chris Evans, Cillian Murphy, Benedict Wong and Mark Strong amongst many others, and is a fantastic film. Although it's not a light-hearted film, so don't go into it expecting sunshine and rainbows. Well, don't go into it expecting rainbows. We get the first reference to Bad Wolf.
This is the Bad Wolf scenario.
Jabe says,
I could show you. And your wife?
Well, she's not my wife.
Partner?
No.
Concubine?
Nope.
Prostitute?
we have seen the Doctor and Jabe eyeing each other up earlier in the episode, and here Jabe is doing her culture's equivalent of checking to see whether the Doctor and Rose are a couple, to see if he is single, much like Adam will do in Dalek.
Are you and him?
No, we're just friends.
Good.
Why is that good?
Just is.
Bloody Adam. Rose and the Doctor quickly say they are not an item, which is good for the viewer to understand. This is reinforced when Rose says,
Tell you what, you two go and pollinate.
Implying that she really doesn't mind if these two go off and continue their earlier flirting. During Jabe's list of possible relationships between the two, she asks if she is a prostitute. Now, I always thought this was a bit edgy for a children's TV show, but there's also a weird subsequent link, as Billie Piper would later go on to have 2 major acting roles in TV, playing characters who are prostitutes. Rose jokingly says,
"I want you home by midnight."
This is similar to a request she makes in her last ever appearance in The End of Time Part 2.
Don't stay out all night. Try and stop me.
Thank you for watching part 3 of our breakdown of The End of the World. Part 4 will be out tomorrow at 6 PM and we'll go over stuff like the original shot of Eccleston jumping through the fans, the fury of the Time Lord, and the slag off between Rose and Cassandra.
Like you, a bitchy trampoline.